Hello everyone, a very good afternoon to you. This is Chanel. Well, again, welcome back to the webinar sessions. This is the sharing sessions organized by Correct Alibaba Cloud Exhibitions. Well, if let's say you are watching this from the Facebook, I would like to encourage you to click on the link that provided from the post visited to the virtual platform, Create Alibaba Cloud Exhibition Hall, because we have a numbers of exhibitor entrepreneurs on the virtual platform. Moreover, if let's say you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to drop us a message so that we can revert to you and answer to your question or comments. Well, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to invite Mr. Kong Ling Long, the Regional President of Renda LLKG International Southeast Asia and South Asia region to share on the topic of pandemic is an opportunity to transform. Well, Mr. Kong is also the Managing Partner of Renda LLKG International. He is also the Chairman of International Tax Panel. He and his team has been doing a lot of outreach in the SMEs community during the COVID-19 pandemic. He believes that the unprecedented crisis require unprecedented actions. Think big and move fast so that the business will be carried on. So what is the right mindset and actions that he recommended? He will share his insight in the presentations within 30 minutes. You are welcome to drop your questions in the Q&A room on the virtual platform. By the end of the presentations, Mr. Kong will answer to your comments and questions. I will now leave the screen to Mr. Kong for his online sharing with us. Please, Mr. Kong.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me loud and clear, is it? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Today I will talk about, because given the topic about the pandemic, is it an opportunity to transform? To me, definitely it is an opportunity to transform. But I would like to stress is transform does not need to wait until it is a pandemic. Let us go through a few slides over here. The first slide, I would like to have the content that is what is business transformations? Because my talk for the next 45 minutes, I'll cover this one. Then the impact of the pandemic. But as I promised the host just now before we start, I say I would like to have a more practical scenario in respect of this one, not to talk about just a story. What is let's say pandemic? How is our government assistance, the programs to us, especially as an SME? And then the last but not least, I would like to share on what should we do to transform. Okay, let's look at this one. I pick it up from the Air Focus, very famous the software. Mentioned these few words that I would like to share. He mentioned that actually transform for the business transformation is a test of time to have a change. Why is it like that? Because if we don't change, because let's say a decade ago, 20 years ago until now, you cannot be doing the same thing all over and over again. With the time pass, you have to change. That is called definitely a transformation. As I mentioned at the beginning, you do not need to wait until pandemic. Then what is the business transformations? Transformations definitely is an action. The action is to for our growth and then to change our plan. Grow for what? Business, there's only one thing. Grow for the profit. If you say grow for loss, cannot be. For the profit and loss account, and then grow for what? For the asset accumulations. You cannot say I grow for the liability. Cannot be. So with this asset more than the liability, profit more than the losses, what is that? That's called value. Value of our company. And then you look at the transformation, especially you look at this Apple. You say Apple for the last 20 years accumulate until the market value of the US 1 trillion, but it took only 20 months to reach another 1 trillion. That is called, is it a pandemic or it is a transformation? Which is which? Okay, let's look at this one. This is very interesting. I pick it up from the the magazine. It talk about the transformations about Paralympic. It just been held in Tokyo. You see, 5 cool ways. This is technology. Look at the first one is a running plate, and then the second one is actually how they put up the actually in order for them to release the arrow. Then the third one, look at the this I call it is the badminton chair. Badminton chair, and then the we call it another one is the fantastic wheelchair. Fantastic wheelchair is a racing wheelchair. And then the fifth one, look at this. Let's say this particular athlete, he got impaired eyesight. How they know that they reached the age of the swimming pool with this gadget? You look at all this gadget is fantastic. If you look at all this gadget, what are they? What are they? It is operational, or it's a core transformation, or it's a strategic. If you look at let's talk about the strategy. What is a strategic transformation? Strategic transformation, to me, it is you see, he make the Olympic can be participated by all the OKU. You see, inclusiveness. They mean all sort of whatever OKU. It is much more difficult than a normal Olympic. This is a strategic transform. Otherwise, you look at many years ago, the Paralympic is not like that. It's all assisted by a cutting edge technology. You see a transformation? Yes, it's a strategic transformation. What happens to the core transformation in this respect? This core transformation is a fundamental change of the methodology. That means how you run. Without the leg, how you run. You still can run. It's a fantastic. If you're going to watch it, this Paralympic is amazing. As compared to the normal Olympic. You see, must put in what? Put in the technology. That's why later I'm going to touch on my article. Technology is a transformation, or transformation you must have a technology. Then the other one is operational. Operational is a much smaller one. That means operational advancement. You have to see the athlete use it for what? For a better performance. For more attractive. More attractive in this respect. So operational, core transformations, or strategic. Let's look at this. If you look at the business, what is a business transformation? It's quite interesting over here. Okay, you see, if you look at operational, that means you're making changes the way you do things. That means it's efficiency and effectiveness. What do you mean by efficiency and effectiveness? That means you must do things faster. Why you need to do it faster? Because it is shorter time cost. That means you make more profit. It is cheaper. That's why later we'll talk about the digital transformations in my this particular talk. Core transformations, I mean, as I mentioned just now, the Paralympic. In the business, it's the same thing. It's a moving fundamentally or different way. That means you are still doing these products, but you are transformed into making these products is another, let's say, auxiliary products that is comes together with your main products. That's called transformation. Last time you don't do all these products. Let's say strategic transformation is what? The whole company. That means last time you do not use technology. Now you use technology. You put in the cost into this technology. That is called strategic transformation in this respect. So I think it's quite interesting. Operational is efficiency and effectiveness. That means doing the right things or doing the thing right. Core transformation, that is you never done it before. Now it is more allocations. The cost allocation, perhaps I will show it to you how to make use of the government government assistance programs in order to transform. You need more resources. Then strategic is what? Is a new product, new resources. Why is it like that? That means you have you want to increase your income, increase your cash flow, and then you increase your market. Okay, what is business transformations? As I mentioned just now, if you mention the operational or these core transformations or strategic or whatsoever, but when I study, I feel that the business transformations, there are four perspective, four angles. There is a systems transformations, processes, people, and a technology. If you talk about systems, that means the whole company, the system transformations. If you say processes, just like I mentioned, the operational, the processes transformation in that respect. Actually, okay, let's talk about system first. System and process, it goes hand in hand. System is for the whole company. Let's say processes. Processes for specific area, specific products, specific services. And then the way you are doing things. This one, you need to transform. And then it comes to people. That means before you transform, you need a mindset. You need a mindset. That's why I always mention. I remember when I gave a talk last year, 2020, to this in the Huawei head office. Somebody asked me, is there any businesses will be out of the businesses? I said no business will be out of business, unless it's your mindset is out. So I think the mindset of people is very important. Have to change the mindset in order to change the processes and the systems. Obviously, the last one is technology. Adoptions of a new tools, I think, is quite important in this respect. Okay, let's look at this four. I will not touch this four. Otherwise, the host, I think they need to give me the whole day to talk about system, process, people, and technology. Today, I would like to concentrate on the technology. So in what way we can make use of government? In what way, how can we transform this technology? Obviously, I would like to touch on some enlightening point in respect of the survey, either survey by the Departmental Statistics Malaysia or the ACCIM. Okay, this is a company. You don't confuse with this one. This is a digital economy. Today we are not talking about the economy, which is a digital economy. Digital economy, we talk about this one you know, all the biological, and then medicines, and then physical. That means AI, and then some more relevant to us is the digital, big data, virtual, Internet of Things, all these things. Today we are not talking about digital economy. Yeah, otherwise too huge a topic to talk about. We have to concentrate on the business transformations in respect of technology. Okay, now I would like to touch, after we talk about the transformations about the businesses, what are they? You remember when I talk about the operationals, when I talk about the core transformations, when I talk about strategic transformations, all this, there is some things in the market. Let's touch on the second sessions of my talk. There is an impact of the COVID-19. You see, last year, 18th of March, Malaysia had this movement control order. So we can't go out, people can't come to our shop, all these things. So we are affected. When we are affected, how many of us are, let's say, earning money? That means if you don't transform, you do nothing, that is a disaster to me. So you come to CMCO, RMCO, all these things, and then you come to MCO 2.0. I still remember until they got no this alphabet to use. They use what is that? EMCO. Now it's the PPN. That means is pemulihan. Recovery of the economy. Some of the states like KL Selangor entered the second stage. What about other states? All those things. Okay. Then we talk about national recovery plan, all these things, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Where are we now? So are we going to get in touch in this respect? Okay. Let's look at this few newspaper cutting about impact of the COVID-19. You see, Ministry of the MedTech mentioned as well, a lot of business will go out of the business because of the pandemic. Are we? That means we need to transform. I don't believe we will go out of the business if we make use of this pandemic as this earlier on this theme of this the topic. It's a pandemic is an opportunity for us to transform. If let's say without pandemic, are we going to transform? Yes, as I mentioned just now, the A focus mentioned the time also make us transform. Now, pandemic definitely is an opportunity. If you not mention it's an opportunity, it's actually is a must for us to transform. Otherwise, you look at the morning brief talking about more economic sector expect to open. Actually, are you closing because of the MCO? Are you open also because of MCO? If you are doing this, that means your business is not transforming. You have to do something that in order to increase our productivity and the businesses. Let's look at this. I think it's quite interesting. In respect of this DOSM, DOSM is the Departmental of Statistics of Malaysia, mentions, as I mentioned just now, the MCO, last MCO that is 18th of March last year. They have done a survey. How many of us can do sales or services via online? Only 12%. 12.3% can do online businesses. That is a marvelous low. That means most of us cannot do online. That means you don't have that means no sales. About 67 to 70%. There's no sales, no revenue. You see, that means pandemic make us think. Are we going to transform? You see. Then, if you talk about source of finance, almost 70% of the source of finance is comes from saving. That means we are going to. That means the saving is depleted. What you earned last time is going to fork out now is depleted. Are you going to allow it to be depleted, or you are transformed into financial transformations into? Because financial transformation, it will not come easy unless your business transform. As I mentioned, your operational must transform. That's why you have to look at the strategic transformation in this respect. But when you look at the right-hand side of my slide, estimations of the duration of the company to recover astonishing. You see, more than almost half, say more than 6 months to recover. That's why we have to do something in this pandemic in order for us to survive. That means what I mentioned is, if you are doing business, because the good time you can do good business, bad time you cannot do business. That means we are not businessmen. That means we are not, we don't have business minded. If in the bad times or in the pandemic, this is a test. You see, when we go to school, we study, we have to go for a test. If we study, we don't go for a test, how do we know where are we? That's why I treated the pandemic is a test. The test for us as a real businessman, real entrepreneur, in order to go through. So look at this statistic now. Okay, let's look at the ACCIM, Associated Chinese Chamber of Commerce statistic. I picked up this field during this Malaysia Business and Economic Conditions Survey. When I asked one question, what is the reason that your company does not aggressively adopt the digitalizations or automation? Either you do automations in the factory or you do digitalizations of whatsoever, businesses like trading business or the restaurant service provider, you can digitalize your business as well. But you look at that, 37% say that not applicable. My God, why not applicable? They say already aggressiveness adopted in the recent years. You say, are they doing that? You see, only 37%. The rest is there not ready to focus because they got a lot of other things to focus. And then the third one then that continues with the current business model. That means about 1/3 or 1/4 of the businesses is still continue at the current. So I think this is very alarming as far as what we are going in this respect. If you look at the money that's spent, if I ask this question, has your company auto? That means have you altered your digital transformations plan as a result of COVID-19? Because COVID-19 up to now, I think is after coming to the next week is end of September, is almost 19 months. 19 months, COVID-19, 19 months, easy to remember, at the end of September 2021. We still do not have a digital transformation plan as a result of COVID-19. You see, yes, it's only about 40%, but how they transform, that means the rest of the 60% is not doing any transformation. This, I think, is quite scary. Because are you in this blue or you are in the red? So we have to gauge ourselves and judge. Then look at the money. You say how much is the company spent on the digital transformations technology in 2021? You see, they are only about 30%. Not even one third mention that they spend more. They spend more. But later I'll tell you what do they spend. Some are there saying the same, some are there saying less. That means you look at only 30%, 31% spend a little bit more or more into digitalization spending. That means the rest of 70% are not. But when we gonna find out this 30% of they are spending, they spend on what? They spend on go and improve their accounting systems, go and improve their these core point of sales POS system. I don't think so. That one is digitalization. Then they said they pay more commissions into those let's say Grab driver or those rental food all those things. And I don't think so. They spend more. That one is not digitalizations. That one is only a front end helping you to deliver your whatever food, just like you're buying stamp, in order to send a letter. That one I don't think so. It's digitalization. It's just an avenue because you can't have a dine-in, except for restaurant. Just an avenue for you to send over your particular products, to your customer. I don't think so. That one is a form of a little bit of transformation, but it is not enough. Okay, let's look at this one. You see, when we look at this in the MTech, we know MTech came out with this report, change of business activity due to COVID. That means that it's an activity change, the transformation. You look at this, almost 60% of the companies, you see, began adapting the work from home systems. This sort of thing is the behavioral. That means the company is changing, strategic transformation changing, working from home. But is it using a digital platform? Is it using a digital, let's say, a virtual that you can control the E&E, not electronic and electrical. E&E is effectiveness and the efficiency of doing business in your respect. What is efficiency? That means you are doing things, I think, faster, to save the cost, as I mentioned at the beginning. If you say, what is the effectiveness? That means you are doing right. That means doing the right things. Efficiency, doing the thing right. So all these things, are you doing that? You see, if you say that I transform my business transform due to this working from home, all those things, it's not a mere transformation. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, I show you this one because as a board member of this SME Corp, we did do a lot of score project to the SME. If you get a high score, then you can have a green lane of many or these services or any grant or soft loan. You look at this. I particularly pick up this example of this radar program. You look at this. This one is before pandemic. Already existed before pandemic. Business performance. Are you doing your business performance when the test of the time? Remember, test of the time. Are you going to change to a better business performance? Then financial capability. If you can manage and transform the business, you have a better financial. That means more profit, lesser expenses. You know how to make use and reinvest the funds. That means your financial capability. Then technical capability, operation management, and then do you have innovations in your businesses? You cannot say I do not need any innovation. You look at this. I still remember when we small at times you have a coffee shop. The coffee shop, the way they make coffee, the way they spread the butter on the bread, and today I think it's still the same. But how come you go to this so-called coffee shop now? That is, you pay much higher. I call it the price for a cup of coffee, and the bread is still the bread. and the butter is the butter. Kaya is still a kaya. Is there innovations? I think yes. It's a strategic growth. Strategic innovations of the whole transformations of a business. Then you are willing to pay a higher price. During those days, when we were small, if our grandfather, grandmother brought us to that coffee shops that it got aircon, I think nobody want to enter it with a higher price. But now, yes. Why is it like that? Because it's not because of pandemic. It is because the test of the time. Business transform. It does not mean that all business will die. That's why, as I mentioned, no business will be out of the business unless your mindset. You see, that is very important. That means all business doing in the new way. Fantastic strategic transformations. So quality systems, and then the management capability. Management capability. It is as I mentioned, the people mindset. You see, you look at this field. 7. Look at business performance, financial capability, technical capability, operational management, innovations, quality system, and the management capability. All these things, nothing to do with pandemic. You see, but to be transformed. If you didn't transform, I think it is the time for you to do it. Why? You like it or not? We make use of the pandemic, to transform. So let's say you wait for a while. Let's say pause for a while. We ask this question: is the business digital transformation only just about technology? As I mentioned just now, transformation, it does not mean that you adopt technology, then you transform, because I remember many years ago when I give a talk, I asked, a lot of people, are you doing technology or any advanced this e-commerce or whatsoever adoption? They say yes. How? Oh, last time I don't have a website. I set up website. Hey, then when you see the technology transformations, then I say, oh, last time I used this we call it what the fax machines. Now we don't use fax machine. We use email. Is it called transformations? Technology? Oh, very interesting. Your business card mustn't have a fax. If you have a fax number, that means you are old guy. You must have some magic word you call www dot something. You see, is it a technology transformation? That's right. A transformation is the whole thing, as I mentioned. The strategic transformation for the business, the core transformations for your products and services, and then the what is that? Another one is called operational transformations. But if you adopt a technology, no matter how, it's a kind of transformation. That means transformation does not necessarily means that you have to adopt technology. Just now I show you quite a number of this one about there's a score, business, financial, technical, operational, innovation, quality management, all this. This is also a part of transformation. If you don't use technology, I think it's okay. But today we look at this one, these questions. That's why digital business transformations demand what to me? It demand of the mindset is very important. If your mindset is not there, you will not transform. You see, you have to change your mindset in order to transform in the digital. So if you look at digital transformations, demand of what? Behavioral shift. I remember last time when we study in the London, the professor always teaches behavioral this business study. The whole business actually is the behavioral of management. You have to shift. Then digital transformations, definitely you must have a leadership backup. Because the whole thing transform, you need a cost. But when you need a cost, that means you need a fund. Later, it's much more practical. I will show you something. Okay, now we comes to another section about the government assistance or programs. Look at government assistance programs. I think it's quite interesting in this respect. Last year, as I mentioned, 18th of March 2020, we have a first lockdown. Then we had this government come out with the economic these stimulus packages. Then I still remember the previous government. That means the former Prime Minister Tun M. Now we got two former Prime Minister. The Tun M came out with this 2020 or February 27. I think a lot of people forgotten about this economic transformations programs. This is the earliest one, the first one. Then our another former Prime Minister, this Muhyiddin, came out with the 27th of March or the Prihatin. Then Prihatin, SME Plus, PKS Plus, Bencana, kita Prihatin, Pemulih, Pemerkasa, then Pemerkasa Plus, Permai, all those things. How many of them? There are 9, if you calculate. From the Tun M, 27th of February, until the Pemulih recently by the former Prime Minister Muhyiddin. Last is on the 28th of June. Is how much? Is this how many of them? 9. Let's say plus the 2021 budget announced last year November. Very fast. 2022 budget is going to announce next month. So I think it's very fast. A year gone by, or about perfect 10 over here. Let's look at this 9 economic stimulus packages. How much are they? I think 530p. The real hard cash is about 83b. Are you? That means you benefit from here. That is quite important. Let's look at this one. I'm not going to show you all the Prihatin until the Pemulih, all those things. What are they inside? Definitely there are 3 major things inside. You must use one. This one is for instance, is this salary wages subsidy program, and then the another one is this you delay your this moratorium loan payment. Another one is soft loan. The third one is a soft loan. But I'm not going to show you all the soft loan. Let's look at this one. There are some initiative, but this one is a fantastic initiative. You look at the let's look at the left hand side a lot. There's allocations. Let's look at the right hand side in respect of this SME automations and digitalization facilities. This one is ADF. It is by quite a number of banks. If you can go into the banking, they will tell you how to apply in respect of this one. They are detailed in respect of this ADF. Then you got the SME Technology Transformation Fund, XTTF. In this respect, and then there are some of the fund with the 4% interest, and then you can apply in that respect. What about the SME digitalization grant? When I look at this SME digitalization grant, maybe you may confuse. This is for instance, if you want to digitalize or post, as I say, the post systems, then you can have this digitalizations grant. This grant is about 5,000 ringgit. You can just apply, then they can give it to you in this respect. And then if you want to have, let's say this salary, you say, oh, I want to digitalizations my payroll, then you can apply as well in this respect. But another tool is quite interesting. There is a soft financing scheme for automations and modernization. Another one is soft financing scheme for digital and technology. We call it SFSDT. Sometimes we call it SFDT. These two are offered by the this MIDF. MIDF. If you're gonna apply, then you can have all these financial scheme for automation. If you buy a software, you buy a machinery, then you can have this so-called the soft loan fund. This fund actually, if you're gonna apply, the interest is about 4%. For these two. But due to Pemerkasa, the government announced, as I mentioned, I show it to you the Pemerkasa, but it's down to 3%. So 3% of this loan, I think, is quite worthwhile for you to apply in respect of this these two funds. But however, if these two funds, if you're gonna apply, I would like to show you some of the some details, if you're going to apply for this, let's say the first one, as I mentioned, soft financing scheme for automation, it is a 90% margin of financing, but this one more for the manufacturing in this respect, but you must be in operation for at least 2 years. Then you can apply for this one. As I mentioned, the interest is from 4% down to this 3%. But this one not only for the SME, But if you are non-SME, definitely they will charge you higher interest, about the 5%. But this SME from 4% down to 3%, it is effective now up to 31st March 2022 next year. It can go up to a couple of million, go up to the 20 million in respect of this, either for automations, for this tooling acquisition, and then your productivity improvement. You apply for certificate, then you can apply for this from the MIDF, and then you purchase of ICT related these products, then you can apply. So last but not least, the soft financing scheme for the digitalization and technology. I think this one is only for SME. As I mentioned, the percentage of the interest also because of the government stimulus packages is from 4% down to 3%. It's a similar up to 31st March 2022. But this one is not only for manufacturing; it's for all sector, all sector. But this particular businesses SME, you must be 60% owned by a Malaysian as well. It's for the local SME, so it can up to maximum of 1 million, and then it's a multi-guarantee, decent collateral because guarantee is by the Syarikat Jaminan SJPB. Also 90% of the this margin of the financing, you can buy the hardware, the software, all these things, digitalization. So I think it is very worthwhile for us to explore in this. And then over here, I didn't jot down. There's another one. It is what it is. I call it SAG. That means Smart Automation Grant. Previously, you can apply from the this MIDA in respect of the this 1 million. Now because overwhelming the response, now go back to the MTech about 200,000. You can apply for this grant in this respect. So I think that one is SAG, Smart Automations grant. The grant means that you don't have three things: no collateral, no interest, and then no repayment. I think it's worthwhile for you to go and explore. Okay, this one is some digitalization initiative for you to consider. Okay, let's look at this one. I have written one article. You mentioned that is digitalization is the only way out in the start. So I think you have to look at this one. If we want to transform, as I mentioned, transformation, it does not need digitalization. But if you digitalize your business, it's a way of a transformation. You look at this article, as I mentioned in the first paragraph, on a digital economic blueprint that Malaysia reach the digital economy in 2025 and then contribute about 23% of our GDP. I think we have to go. But in this article, I also mentioned most of the Malaysians, as I mentioned, they only I call it computerization, not digitalization of the front end only. The back end we are still lack of. That's why you look at the stock. You look at the back end electronic business processing is very low. It's only 14% of Malaysia. This one is in accordance to the survey. Only 14% have electronic inventory systems. And then the fulfillment software, that means the whole company that is a software operating is only about 11%. As compared to Singapore. Singapore is SME adopt this one. Holding fulfillment is about 85%. So I think we need to do something in respect. If you can, this article, I think you can after this talk you can read this article. So The pandemic, as I mentioned in the last part, the pandemic is about what? Tremendous changes, how the company conduct the business, that's especially to the supply chain. So I think, so we have to have a product, we have to have the business and the workforce. How are we going to change all these things? That is a digital transformation. As I put up this cartoon over here, who is the person who forced us to digitalize our business? Is it the CEO? He said no. Is it the CTO? He said no. Actually, it is COVID-19 to force us for these digitalizations. Okay, let's go through this one. Digitalization transformation, is it a threat and opportunity? I'll go a little bit faster in this respect. I always like to draw this in Chinese, we call 田字, so is it strength and weaknesses, e-wallet and digitalization? I think we must have, if you have digitalization, e-wallet, then you have strength. If you don't have, it's a weaknesses. If you let's talk about opportunity and threat. If you know the market about this one, like DFDZ, then it is a or asset, then you are opportunity. If not, it is a threat, in this respect. Okay, we have to increase our income in terms of transformations, and then reduce our expenses. This is called transform. As I mentioned earlier, we cannot transform in order to reduce your profit, or incur a loss, By the way, are we going to increase our asset or are we going to increase our liability? This is how you want to transform. Because a lot of asset is borne by the liability. A lot of liability is due to the asset. So vis-a-vis, then you have to look at this. Okay, let's look at this e-wallet. You see, Malaysia is fantastic e-wallet usage in Southeast Asia, about 40%. Because you see, we need, last time there's one article I mentioned, we need a 5 to 7 years in order to have this transformation of e-wallet. When we went to China in few years ago, I said fantastic, all these Weixin wallet and then Alipay, all those things. I never expected Malaysia in the last couple of 12 to 15 months. We have done something like 5 to 7 years, with fast adoptions about this e-wallet in this respect. Let's look at another article that I written. Now, where are we now? Most important, after talking so much about the operational transformations, core transformations, and then strategic transformation for the businesses, I show you a lot of Malaysia initiative, government initiative, about digitalization initiative you can apply, or soft loan. Earlier, I show you what are the businesses transformations, I also show you Paralympic, the kind of transformations. So towards a long but hopeful recovery for the SME as we are now. So over here, there are something is quite interesting. So nowadays, business cost is escalating. So there's a way and means, to reduce the cost. That's why we need to make use in this pandemic in order to transform. So I think we have to reduce the cost, increase the profit, hence increase our cash flow. No point increase our profit without cash flow. These are things that we learn in the pandemic. So ultimately, there are two assets that we need to go. That is what? That is a survival in this. So the second one is sustainability. So this article I mentioned over here, we need to accept the pandemic has brought it irreversible. You cannot go back. The changes for the entire business, entire environment. So the business you have to change. Change to what? Change to what we are talking about, the transformations as I mentioned. Okay, last but not least, you look at the action we need to do is now you have to generate the cash flow in the short terms, as I mentioned over here. Utilize the government assistance programs, and then the medium terms is the business sustainability. Are we going to have a budget for the next company budget? I'm not talking about country budget, for the next 3 to 6 months or the next 12 months, re-examine our products and the services for strategic growth and transformations. But long term, we have to explore the larger market. We cannot depend on Malaysia, 32 million populations, ASEP, and then our 10 countries, ASEAN country, plus another 5 countries. You will have to explore this one for the long term. Last but not least, many years ago, when I came back from study, I bought this book, Make Your Money Grow. All the talk I would like to share about this one, I think it's quite relevant. This one is 25 years ago, 25 years later, I never expected that I may use this one to share with you. I say you can't live well by accident now. If there was time of good luck, the time's long since passed. So no more good luck. So you have to work on it. You got to plan and ready to chart your this course between today and the futures, the budgeting. So the last sentence I think you are familiar with. The only certainty of the modern life is uncertainty. That's why we have to go and embrace our this pandemic and transform. From the first slide, that is we call it pandemic. It's an opportunity to transform. Last slide, I'm talking about this one. Post-pandemic is a threat if you choose not to transform. So I think this is quite sensitive for you to go for it. If you choose not to transform. So remember, I show you the book I read. You have to choose to transform. Because the book given to me by this Tom Shakespeare, they say you have to transform. To be or not to be, it's just a question. To be and want to be is an answer. Okay, thank you for your this attentions to my talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Mr. Kong for the precious sharing. Well, the topic is pandemic is an opportunity to transform. Yeah, as Mr. Kong said, if you act now, probably that will be another milestone that you can achieve. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will now to open up the questions from the Q&A room. Then Mr. Kong will answer from there. Well, that is a question here from Big Will Sitzban. You say that most of the SME, they're rather to put themselves in the comfort zones, so they're reluctant to change. So what is your advice to make them move forward?
As I mentioned just now, actually, just asking this question is a mindset. The mindset you have to change. No point for you to attend a lot of courses. It becomes theoretical in your mind. So we have to look at. I think the first thing that we must be very practical. To look at our budget for the next 3 to 6 months. Are we there to make a cash flow, or are we not there to make a cash flow? So we have to. That figures will make us change. If you say we have a good cash flow, we have all the things, then you can choose not to change. Just as I mentioned, to be or not to be is the question. If to be and want to be, then it's the answer. So I think we have to look at our mindset. The mindset is not just you just dreaming or you think about it. You have to look at the figures. I think the figures down on your table, whether you need to change or not. That is, I think, that you need to study in this respect in order to pursue change, not because of pandemic.
Okay, please allow me to ask one more question from the presentations. I think this is useful for the audience. Well, Mr. Kong, just now you mentioned about that technology is the most important things in the digitalizations. It is not about POS, it is not about accounting software, it's about digitalizations and the technology. But from the accounting perspective, technology used to be and always is the most heavier cost in the accounting or in the budget in the company whole expenditure. So what is your advice how to amortize this kind of investment in technology?
You are talking about from accounting perspective, or you are talking about the budgeting of finance?
From the accounting perspective, once you already invested, right? Then how do you amortize this kind of useful expenditure? I would call it.
Definitely, if you invest in the hardware, if you invest in the software, you have to amortize it from the accounting point of view. But from the this taxation point of view, you also can claim. You can claim 2 years for your capital allowances. Actually, a lot of people that do not know, a lot of things that apart from the digitalizations, the grant or the soft loan that we can apply from MIDF or MEMTech or MIDA, all those things. or from the ADF from a respective bank, if you please go and ask. If you don't ask, you may not know. After this talk, then you will know. But a lot of from accounting point of view, a lot of these I call it these advanced accelerated capital allowance, you can claim double. Now you can claim, if you spend 2 million, you can claim 4 million, to reduce your profit in order not to pay the particular tax. There's a tax efficiency you should study. There is no problem. You can look for this one and ask for your tax agent. Yep.
Or maybe you guys can contact Mr. Kong for his for the advice, right? All right, he's always in Malaysia. Then, the time now is 2:52. I would like to take about a few minutes for a recess. Then we will come back for the next sharing. Once again, on behalf of the committee, we would like to thank Mr. Kong for the precious sharing. It benefits a lot, and hope to see you again. Let's take a short break, and then we will be back at 2:55. See you.
Okay, thank you.